It is now 5:30. I will call the select board meeting on January 6th to order. If you can please join me in the pledge of allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Yeah. All right, so we have no appointments for today, so I will call George Randall for citizen participation.
All I have to say is, welcome to 2025. I wish only the best for the board and Mr. Martin for 2025.
Thank you, George.
Thank you. Very kind of you. Thank you.
All right, next is town administrator.
First topic will be the recall bylaw has been approved.
Awesome.
Okay, so now we can move forward with getting that in our books. Other than that, hasn't really been that much that's been going on.
And the recall bylaw is immediate, right? Once it's approved, it starts.
Once it's signed by the governor, yes.
Okay.
The governor hasn't signed it yet.
No, but it did pass the legislature.
Good.
Yep, so.
Okay. All right, next on the agenda is to accept departmental reports.
And I will make a motion to accept the departmental reports.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion on my part.
Actually, there was one. Sorry, I made a note on it. There's a bunch of reports that we read. So, Chris, there was concern from maintenance about people going on to Dufresne Park Pond and ice skating. Have we ever put up a sign there before saying no ice skating?
No,
Because nobody's tried to go on there or that
Correct.
we noticed
Correct.
anyways.
correct.
I think just for liabilities.
I did tell Jeremy to order some signs. to put
Okay.
them up.
Okay. perfect.
And I think we should probably put it out on the police Facebook page
Okay.
to warn people that the ice isn't that thick
Yeah.
and avoid.
And with it moving, the ice will freeze in some areas and not in others. So,
Yes.
okay. That was my only concern with that report. So I'm glad he's already ordered them. Perfect. Another question, Chris, which I'm not sure if you can answer, is I noticed for a couple weeks now for the director of the senior center, there's no wellness calls being made to the seniors that are homebound.
I have no clue on that.
All right. I'll just reach out to Natalie and see if there's a reason why.
Yep.
Okay.
The only possible reason is our original outreach worker, Diane Morgan, has retired. And we
Okay.
have a new gentleman who has come in
Okay.
and maybe just hasn't.
So it's the
Speak.
outreach person that does the wellness calls?
I think he does a lot of the wellness calls, wellness checks, so
Okay.
that would be my guesstimate on
Okay.
the reason why it's not being done.
All right. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Next is to approve and sign maintenance warrants.
I will make a motion for payroll warrant. The town of Granby, warrant number 38, dated 12/18/24 for fiscal year 25. Sum of $460,656.62.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
And I will abstain from the teacher and select board salaries.
Dave and I vote out of necessity for the selectman salary.
I want to sign in pink, but my blue is dead.
Yeah,
Wait, no. Sorry, guys. No, I've got purple. I've got pink and purple. Thank you. Usually I always have a black pen in my purse for the day.
It's not always that.
I know. Said usually always.
Right.
Oh, thank you very much.
thank you. I will make a motion that the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 39 dated 12/20/2024, fiscal year 25. Total disbursement for warrant 39 is $196,517.97.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No
All in
discussion.
favor?
Aye.
I will make a motion, the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 40 dated 12/27/2024 for fiscal year 25 with a total disbursement for warrant number 40 of $294,533.33.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No
All in
discussion.
favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion, the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 40S dated 12/27/2024 for fiscal year 25 with a total disbursement for warrant 40S of $219,869.04.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye. I will make a motion for payroll warrant. Should put the numbers on here.
41.
Payroll warrant number 41, I'm sorry, yep, there it is. Dated 12/30/2024. That the town of Granby authorize in the sum of $446,333.96. That's federal, second page.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
And again, I will abstain from the select board and teacher salary.
David and I will vote on necessity for the selectmen's salary.
Thank you. I will make a motion, the town of Granby authorize for payment warrant number 42, dated 1/3/2025, for fiscal year 25, with a total disbursement for warrant number 42 of $204,238.93.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Here, as I'm signing.
All right, next is to approve and sign the 2025 Class 3 license. So this would, I guess, we'll table that for a minute. So we are doing, I think these are all in order. Yeah. Chris, does it really matter what order we do it in? If they're all common vics and class licenses? Because I don't see it class 3 on the, maybe it's the yellow one.
That's for vehicles, right? Sell a vehicle.
Yeah, it's
Junk vehicles, yeah.
Yeah.
this one. Or is it, hold on, is that the common? Let's hit purchase. And then this one was the one that we were sent electronically. That one was first, yeah.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, for motor vehicles junk license Class 3 for Narakis Incorporated, doing business as Granby Auto Salvage, 115 School Street, Granby, Massachusetts. That's on premises described as follows: 9+ acres at 115 School Street. License number 3-0003, dated January 6, 2025. This license expires January 1st, 2026.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Excuse me, no discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
That's the gold standard.
Yeah.
Is there only one? Oh.
No, there's another one on here, which is number 6. So I don't think it matters the order we do the licenses in, Chris.
No.
Yeah, so you can just do those and then we can go back to the
Yeah.
common vics. So that's going to be the junk license. That one.
This one is?
Yep, this was the license 3.
No, that's the
The class 3.
class 3 junk license.
9+ acres for secondhand motor vehicles or tires. To buy or sell secondhand motor vehicles or tires.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Mark Kendall Jr. doing business as the Gold Standard, 185 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, for the purchase, sale, or barter of junk, old metals, or secondhand articles. License is granted in conformity with statutes and ordinance thereto, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-01, dated January 6th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Special.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next is to approve and sign 2025 common victulars licenses. That's all of the pink ones.
Make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Fairview Sportsman Fish and Game Association Incorporated at 280 Carver Street, Granby, Mass. 01033 is hereby granted a common vic license number 25-12, dated January 6, 2025, and expires on December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that May's Pizzeria at 56 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033 be granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby, in that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-13, dated January 6, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Granby Pharmacy Incorporated, doing business as Center Pharmacy, 242 State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. Dated January 6th, 2025, license number 25-14.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Cynthia Maloney, doing business as Cindy's Drive-In at 455 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-15, dated January 6th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
We'll make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Dickinson Farms, 134 South Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, be granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. Dated January 6th, 2025, license number 25-16.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
I make a motion, Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Dickinson Farm, doing business as La Flamme's Garden Center at 309 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, be granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 2517, dated January 6th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me.
Make a motion on the.
Yep, so we make a motion for the Granby nonprofits to waive the fee.
So I will make a motion for the Town of Granby to waive a permit fee on a permit waiver request for Friends of Granby Veterans,
Common picture.
common vic license, and I will continue that motion.
We gotta do that separately.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. Dated 12/30/2024.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right.
And now you can do, so that just means they don't have to pay the fee.
Yep, I understand that. Thank you. I make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Friends of Granby Veterans, P.O. Box 38, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said town of Granby at that place only and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended, excuse me, or revoked. Permit number, license number 25-18, dated January 6, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Amore Incorporated, doing business as Pizza Palace, Granby, 31 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby,
The initial.
in that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-19, dated January 6, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
We're just gonna put initials so that Kathy knows that we approved it. Any further discussion on Pizza Palace?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that AAH Corporation Dunkin' Donuts, 77 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, be granted a common vic license in said Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-20, dated January 6, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that DG Retail LLC, doing business as Dollar General Store number 200007, excuse me, 20007, at 180 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a common vic license in the Town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-21, dated January 6, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Five Corner Cuts LLC at 77 West State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033. Be granted a common vic license in said town of Granby and that place only, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-22, dated January 6th, 2025.
I'll second that motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next on the agenda is to approve and sign 2025 entertainment licenses. Should be two. Skip. That one's the automatic amusement. Yeah.
Okay. I make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that ACM Incorporated, doing business as Cindy's Drive-In at 455 East State Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted a license for entertainment to provide entertainment to customers as follows. Live music, first Saturday of every month for classic car shows. Be located at 455 East State Street, Granby, Mass. License is granted in conformity with the statutes and ordinances relating thereto and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-04, dated January 6th, 2025.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
Do we know what times they plan on playing the music there?
Does it say on the application?
No. Oh, on the application.
Do you have those in the early afternoon?
Not that I see.
I would think so, right?
It usually is.
This isn't open.
Yeah,
And the car shows usually between like,
Four to 10. Okay.
yeah, 5, something like that.
Yeah.
Okay.
I've seen them start around 4, but usually done around 7 or 8.
Yeah.
So. Okay.
All right, so all in favor?
Aye.
I don't see any times on here.
You could request times.
What time is the noise ordinance? Is it 9 or 10?
Yes. I
I don't think so either, not on a Sunday. I know on Fridays and Saturdays in the busy season, they stay up, they stay open till 10, I think.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, we'll make a motion for a permit fee waiver request dated 12/30/2024 for the Friends of Granby Veterans
Or which
for
license?
entertainment for fundraiser events.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion?
All in favor?
Aye.
So that's the no initial that we approved it. So we can check approved. Get initial.
And I will make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that Friends of the Granby Veterans, P.O. Box 38, Granby, Mass. 01033, is granted a license for entertainment to provide entertainment, live band, DJs for events to be held on the grounds of Dufresne Park, located at 32 Kendall Street, Granby, Mass, and expires on December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-05. January 6th, 2025 is the date.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
Discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, next is to approve and sign 2025 automatic amusement license.
I make a motion, the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Granby, certify that 266 Lounge Incorporated, located at 74 Pleasant Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, is hereby granted an automatic amusement device license, being a jukebox, which are kept on the following described premises: 74 Pleasant Street, Granby, Mass. 01033, and expires December 31st, 2025, unless sooner suspended or revoked. License number 25-02, dated January 6th, 2025.
Did it say expires 2025 or 2026? I thought you read
It
2025.
does say 2025.
Is that there?
Well, December 31st, 2025. That would be
The-
end of this year.
Yeah, the jukebox license has expires December 31st, 2025 instead of 2026.
Well, it would be 2025 because it's January 1, 25
Oh.
to December.
In 2026.
That's okay.
No, I was thinking that.
Because Kevin is 2025.
Don't make us skip it. will you?
All right. So you seconded.
I second.
Okay. Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
I,
I don't know why I did that. For some reason in my head it was,
And that
Supposed to
last one,
expire.
you missed the other 40.
I know, for some reason. That just stood out. Maybe it's because you paused right there.
I was reading through it.
So Kathy did have, remember 2 weeks ago when we did the Booster Club?
Yes.
And we asked about the waiver fee. So we did approve it. They just didn't have the paperwork, so she just needs us to initial it. All right. And the last thing for news business is to approve and sign contracts.
So I will make a motion that we enter into agreement with APD Management Incorporated to conduct a third-party internal investigation within the town of Granby.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
Yes, Chris,
Not to exceed $7,000.
thank you.
I'm sorry, not to exceed $7,000. Thank you.
I'll second the motion.
Important piece.
Any further discussion?
No
All in
discussion.
favor?
Aye.
And Chris, do you want us just to sign down at the bottom?
This copy. Oh, the table is really grainy, right?
Yeah, I usually leave on top of the other papers. All right, so I know we've got a lot on the agenda for old business. So if the board is okay with that, I would like to skip to the interim fire chief for our discussion from our interviews that we had last week, because I know we have a lot of people waiting for it. So I was very pleased to see the applicants that came in front of us. I think many of, I think they were all qualified and they all had a lot to bring to the table. I did reach out to Deputy Chief Vaughn just to kind of get his take on what the fire department needs right now. And his biggest concern is the budget. So with that in mind, we really only had one candidate that had budget experience, which was Russ Anderson. But I also know that he is over 65 and he cannot go on fire calls. So that is something that we have to also recognize as well. So Chris, is there a way that he could help us out with the budget if we were to choose him as our interim fire chief? And answer fire calls being over 65.
Well, number one, he won't answer fire calls.
Right.
He would leave that up to the deputy and the assistant chiefs.
Yep.
We had this before, Chris, right? With,
We did this with Dave Seifert. And what we did is we called him, the title was Assistant Town Administrator Fire Services. That way, there's no mention of fire chief, which could compromise their retirement through the retirement system. So that's why we called and went that route.
So it was Assistant Town Administrative
Fire Services.
Fire Services. And how do we, I guess my next concern too would be the delegation of inspections with the fire marshal. So how would that work then if we technically would not have a chief?
I would want to research that with the Department of Fire Services. And then maybe at the next meeting, figure out how we'd be able to do that. I do know we have, that there are members of the permanent force who are certified to do inspections. So, we may be able to do that, or we may just have to, maybe have the Board of Selectmen sign off on them as the fire commissioners, for lack of a better word.
So right now, deputy chief and the assistant chief do not have they can do the inspections, but they don't have authorization, right? So we would, like you were saying, you would do the research and find out how to grant
Yep.
them authorization to do it because they are certified to do it.
Yes.
That was my initial thought. I don't know. And talking to Deputy Chief Yvonne. So I don't know if you guys have other things you want to.
I don't have anything to add to it. I do agree that he had the most budget experience of the four candidates. And we do need to move forward on that, given light of where we've been in the past year. So he would really be my recommendation at this point.
yeah, I agree with both. Yeah, I think the other candidates that we had, they're qualified in regards to kind of looking at what we're looking for. But I think too, with the budget in front of us right now, Russ Anderson, I think just finishing up being a chief in Southwick, I think is very helpful. And not just that, he's worked in Granby before as the fire chief, so he understands the budget as Granby does it as well. So I think it's a tough time, and I don't feel comfortable introducing someone into it that would struggle with it as well, because I think the assistant chief Fernandez said the same thing. The deputy chief said is that their concern is the budget. They've been working on it, kind of putting things together and stuff like that, but I don't think it'd be fair to, have someone else come in and kind of take that over, and that be their first thing, try to figure that out. So I do like the idea of having someone that's already experienced and knowledgeable in that area step in for a short period of time until this board can, appoint a fire chief.
Full time.
And I think the candidates that also applied for interim chief, I think they really, or I'm going to suggest that they apply for the chief's position, the full time. That just at this time, I think the budget is our main concern, and unfortunately, he was the only one with that budget experience. So,
I agree.
yeah.
And so would that be, is that an appointment or is it,
Yes, it's an appointment.
it's an appointment?
But it's a motion to appoint and then have you enter negotiations with him.
So I will make a motion to appoint Russ Anderson as the Assistant Town Administrator for Fire Services and allow Chris to enter into negotiations with him.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
All right, so with that, Chris, I know it also says updates for fire chief. So you have any updates on how many applications you have
I
in?
have 4 applications.
4 applications, okay. And then it says proposed fire chief screening committee. Did anyone get back to you yet?
Well,
I have people who said no.
Okay.
let me ask the board. We have 4 applicants.
Mhm.
Do we need to have
The hiring committee.
the hiring committee? And I ask that because it's 4 people, and we would ask to usually have 2 or 3 sent to us anyways, and for us to with recommendations, but we're almost there at that number.
And we did have a committee for the interim. And if those, candidates are coming forward to apply for the full-time position, then I guess we do have a viable amount of candidates according to the committee.
And when did we have the closing date for the?
17th.
The 17th?
Of January.
Yeah.
Yes.
Hey, Chris, how many people do you have that said yes?
I had 2.
So, I mean, it's difficult with that there.
Well, the only thing would be is if one of the board members wants to sit on there.
Which I had said I would.
But I guess up to the point for
Is it necessary?
If it's
That's it.
3 and if it's 3 in the screens committee and it's 3 here.
Right. Well, my question would be if the board is going to ask the screening committee to submit 3 names to us, we have 4.
Right. So we're gonna get the same 4 back in our plate.
Well, let's get 3 with 4, and I think is.
But I think with the screening committee, I think it just gives them their, just like with, well, no, because they'll give their top 3, right? They don't tell you the one, they give you their top 3.
Yeah.
I guess I would just be concerned about the expertise from the people who would be on the fire chief screening committee. Are they from the fire department, Chris?
Well, you have one who's the fire chief over in Hadley.
Okay,
He was interested in serving again.
okay,
George has said he would be willing to be on it again. He was on the fire department for quite a few years.
yeah.
Well, I mean, there's just 2 excellent candidates, and Mr. Randall and as well as the fire chief in Hadley. I guess what I'm looking at is it needed? And then if the board's gonna ask that committee to submit 2 people to us, I understand that, but if the board's gonna ask them to submit 3, and there's only 4 applicants, and we don't know if they even meet the qualification at this point either. So that could eliminate,
One of the 4
it could,
and leave us with 3.
you know, so until I think, until we get to that point, I think, Chris, you said you had 3 that you haven't seen yet or unopened.
I haven't opened them, no.
So I think maybe at the next, we table this to the next meeting. Because like I said, if we have one of those individuals who don't meet the requirements, then we're down to 3.
Right.
And, you know,
But also, it will be public session at that point. The reason you usually do a search committee is because that can be done in executive session.
no,
As long as it isn't the board of selectmen being the search committee.
right. But I understand that to the point that we'd end up with the same. I guess just wondering where we are with it, that we know we have 4 applicants. We know, I think 1 we know meets the qualifications. We don't know about the other 3. So I guess, you know, until we know that at that point, it seems,
And then they still have a couple weeks before it's due. So if other people are going to put in for it as well, we might have more than the 4. We might have 7. Yeah,
so,
Don't know.
right.
So is that where the committee should come in? Because if we do have 7
yeah.
applicants.
Well, I think if the number increases, that's where we should look at having a committee. But like you said, if the number stays at 4
So do we,
or less,
And how many
Right.
usually on a search committee? You want an odd number, right?
We've done usually 3, 5, 7.
Okay.
and you'd have to have at least another member besides Dave, because he's a non-voting member.
Right.
Right.
So everyone else you asked said no?
What about, is there a conflict with Ross Anderson?
I don't see a conflict.
Yeah. I mean, we can ask that be part of the duties and his responsibilities as part of that committee.
as interim.
It also gives the opportunity that, against, it's another person that's been a fire chief,
Right.
but also been a fire chief in Granby. So,
Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that's a good idea.
That's a good idea.
Yeah.
Sure. So we can table it until we see the applications.
I think so. It's the only way, or even so, that would be, the names we have are Mr. Randall and the chief from Hadley, and if we put Ross Anderson into the mix, that's our 3.
Agree.
So I mean, that would, if we have a committee, that would be them. The other people we put out have said no, unless some other people are interested in it, and we're definitely open to people that want to be part of it. We've said this before, and we haven't got any response.
All right, so those will be the 4. Chris, if you get more than 4 applications. Which our next meeting, regular meeting is the 22nd after the applications come in. So should we still send out a letter of appointment to the people that we possibly will have, so that way we don't delay it? Because they would receive the applications the following week on the 21st, right? Because Monday's a holiday, so the 17th is a Friday. And our next meeting, well, no, I guess, because our next meeting is the 22nd. So it's really only being delayed a day before we have
Yeah.
a meeting. So it's
Right.
not like we're delaying it for a week or 2.
Well, you have a meeting on the 9th. So
Yeah.
if you wanted to, you could do the appointments that day.
So,
Right, but I was just saying, if they have till the 17th to get in, we don't know how many applications we're gonna get, because like Glenn said, if we get more than 4, then the committee is gonna be needed. But if we don't have more than 4, then
Okay.
I know that's where it's like you said,
Well, I mean, we're gonna
still
you know,
appoint them,
Sure.
and then, okay,
I mean, if we have 5, we may decide to go with them. I think if we appoint them to be part of the committee now, I think it's we're all set.
yeah.
And then we have that part of the equation in place.
So can we do the appointments on the 9th, like you're saying, Chris?
And again, if anybody else wants to be part of it, we have a couple of days for them to
Reach out to.
reach out to us.
So I can get in that committee.
Richie?
Need some more. I've been in the department for 40 years, so I know something about it.
There you go. All right, good.
All right, thank you, Richie.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you very much.
Appreciate it.
All right, so going back to the start of the old business. So we had the Winehouse 2025 licenses.
Yeah, I'm gonna make a recommendation. We postpone that discussion
Yeah.
to our next meeting.
Okay.
Due to personal issues that Mr. Tromke is currently going through.
Agreed. Board's okay with that?
Great, yes, I agree.
All right, so for the Open Space Committee, you guys have our Open Space and Recreation Plan for 2025 to 2032 is what the dates are. So what Derek from Pioneer Valley Planning Commission needs from us is the letters of review for the plan from the Select Board Chair. So after we review the Open Space and Recreation, a letter then needs to be sent and signed by me saying that we reviewed the Open Space and Recreation. We also need the same from the Planning Board Chair, and then Derek will take care of the Pioneer Valley Planning Commission end.
Yeah.
We also need an ADA self-assessment, which I believe maintenance would do that, correct, Chris? So maintenance would go around to all our open space areas and do an ADA self-assessment on all of the areas.
Does the planning board got a copy of this?
Yes, so Jim Tromke was actually on the Open Space and Recreation Committee with
Okay.
us, but Kathy did make sure that she sent it to the rest of the planning board as well. So I believe they are supposed to be putting it on their agenda for their next meeting. Or at least hand it out at the next meeting and then review it. And then the following meeting, send us a letter for it, for review. So once all of this is done, we have a tentative pass on our open space and recreation until the Division of Conservation Services reviews it. Once they review it, if they want us to make any changes, they'll send it back to us. The Open Space and Recreation Committee can then make the adjustments that need to be made. If it's something that's more in depth, we would have to apply for a grant for Pioneer Valley Planning Commission to go more in depth on the plan if it comes to that. So we're hoping it doesn't. But in the meantime, maintenance would have to do the ADA self-assessment on the open space areas. So I don't know, Chris, if you can ask Jeremy to do it in his downtime here and there and see if he can. There's a form on the website that you use.
Is there a time frame that has to be completed by?
I asked about the ADA self-assessment and Derek said no, that can be done in the background, but sooner rather than later is best.
Okay.
It will take them a couple months for DCS to actually review this plan.
What's the website that form is on?
I will have to ask Derek because he said it's something that gets leisurely done by the town
Okay.
when they can. So I'll reach out to him and ask if there's a specific form that we're supposed to use.
Or have them forwarded to us so that
Okay,
we can go
I can
forward.
do that. And then I know, Chris, for the next thing for goals for fiscal year 2025, meeting with other committees and boards.
Yeah.
We were going to try and do it in January.
Yeah.
I believe we were having the Planning board and conservation come to the second meeting in January.
Which would be the 22nd.
Yes.
Okay.
That was gonna be the start of it.
Did you hear back from either boards if they can make it?
I think Kathy heard back from some planning board members, but I don't think we heard back from conservation at all.
Okay. And it is now January, so I haven't seen or gotten an email for the freshwater dredging, but I will be on the lookout that for Dufrane's Pond. So it should have been released if it hasn't already been released. I just haven't had a chance to search for it online. The Parks and Recreation, we did receive a letter in our correspondence today from Mr. Petrus.
Yes.
So again, he just basically stated his concern that we're one of the only towns that don't have a Parks and Recreation department, and he gave many reasons why it would be beneficial to have one, which we all are all in agreement on that.
Right.
So.
Yes, I do agree. Excuse me.
And I guess I'm just wondering what would be the next steps, because this is something that would have to be worked into the budget. And we would have to figure out, because he also made it, or a statement in here that GAA would still be very much involved.
We're gonna look at, what is it gonna consist of? I mean, it's gonna be one person that's responsible for it. And what would that be, that person's responsibilities? What would be that, pay? And that's gonna be part of the budget for us. We're gonna create a new position for that.
So is this something, Chris, that we should be looking at a community of our size to see what they do? How do you start a new department that hasn't, well, it was here in the past, right?
Yes.
According to the letter.
Yeah.
Yes.
How long ago did we have a Granby Parks and Rec?
Almost 10 years.
Okay.
It was around 2013, maybe 2014.
But we didn't have anybody assigned to it. We didn't have.
Yeah, we had a director. We had a elected recreation committee, and they oversaw a director.
Maybe we should go back to how it was.
I was gonna say, do we try to form a committee and go back to that route?
May not make it elected, make it an appointed committee.
Agreed.
Maybe find people who are interested in serving on the committee.
Yeah.
It'll be up to them to develop a budget to be presented to the board for inclusion in the budget.
I mean, we could work with that committee on, obviously on everything, but give them the, some people that have the knowledge and what's going to be needed, for that. Yeah.
So could Kathy put a message on the website saying that we are looking for
Yeah, I'm assuming.
Parks and Recreation committee members to serve?
Mhm.
And then do you look back at what we had on the books already as far as recreating the
I gotta ask if there's gotta be there's gotta be a position. There must be a definition of what the responsibilities were, so we can research that
Sure.
and get information for the people that may be part of the committee.
Good.
All right, Chris, any updates to Route 202?
No,
I saw them working on the lights. Are they taking off the lights that are hanging
yes,
over and they're just gonna be on the sides?
they're gonna be on the poles, yes.
Okay.
So, don't know when that's gonna start. I know they were gonna be working on that over the winter. That's all I can tell you.
And they're not paving Amherst Street, right? They said that they were waiting, right?
I think
Well, the batch plants are all closed, so
Okay, because of the cold weather. Okay.
so.
Then any update on Forge Pond?
no.
And then curbside collection, we did extend the contract for them.
But you also have to look at putting together a new RFP for curbside collection.
Do we have a copy of the old one, Chris?
Yes. And I'll get a hold of DEP and see if we can get a technical assistance grant
Okay.
that they can come in and help you through the process.
All right, so that is it for old business. Does anyone have anything else they want to bring up at our next regular scheduled select board meeting?
I just want to say I did hand out, I found some town administrator questions for when they hired me. So that would give you a basis of questions to be able to ask.
And now our meeting for the interviews is Thursday at 4 p.m. That works for everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
And Chris, is an hour too long? Or is that,
I would do an hour just
Do
to
an
play
hour.
it safe.
okay,
So people show up a little earlier, so if we're done sooner with someone and someone's here, we can just get out to the eye.
and since we are interviewing on Thursday, starting at 4 p.m., does the board want to have a discussion on Friday at 5:30 or Monday at 5:30 for the TA? Because I know both dates were suggested by Kathy, but I want to see what works for the board
I think it was open.
before she posts it.
Oh, no, yeah, Friday at 5:30, I could do, yes. I have a funeral Friday morning. I'll be done with that. I could do Friday.
You can do Friday or Monday, whatever works for the rest of the board.
Friday. I can do
Yeah,
it.
I'd rather do Monday. I don't want to do Friday. I have a meeting Thursday too.
Yeah,
What time Monday?
so Monday
Yeah.
at 5:30
Well, would the purpose of that is for discussion, right?
and to choose our TA, yeah.
You want to start at 5 earlier?
I can do that.
So that's 5 o'clock?
5 o'clock on Monday, the 13th.
And that was less than board too. For some reason, after our interviews on Thursday, the board is just kind of like, this is the person. And we can discuss it after that too.
On Thursday?
On Thursday,
Okay.
yeah, you know. I don't think we don't need to wait if someone comes in front of the board that we're just like, this is the person we want.
Firm on.
Or anything like that. And we can have the discussion at the end, whether or not we want to continue it or move to.
Right, but by the time we have our meetings, Kathy will still have to post it.
We can schedule a Monday's meeting and then
Yeah. If we don't need it, she can cancel it. All right. So for our next regularly scheduled meeting for January 22nd, which will be a Wednesday, can the board members review the open space and recreation plan so we can draft that letter
I think so.
of review?
Sure.
Perfect. Right. So if there is nothing else, I will entertain a motion.
I will make a motion to adjourn the meeting.
I'll second the motion.
Any further discussion?
No discussion.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you.